So far we've looked at biotic factors of an ecosystem. Well, here we're going to look at some abiotic factors. And some of the large areas, large abiotic factors in an ecosystem are the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere, if you see them here in the light blue text. Now the atmosphere, starting out here, is the whole mass of air surrounding the Earth, which is a very thin layer if you look at the entire Earth as a whole. There are 5 layers of the atmosphere, but the two most important ones that we're going to be talking about in this class is the troposphere and the stratosphere. Now the troposphere is the innermost layer. It's the one that we interact with. Every time you take a breath in, you're pulling some troposphere in. It also contains 75% of the mass of the Earth's air. And then the stratosphere is where the beneficial ozone is, this O3 that you see here, that filters out about 95% of the harmful ultraviolet radiation emitted by the sun. And ultraviolet radiation is a huge concern in Florida because we have so much skin cancer. We do have a lot of ultraviolet radiation coming in, and a problem with that ultraviolet radiation is that it causes different forms of cancer, and mainly skin cancer. Now the hydrosphere is water, looking at all the different bodies of water around the world. So here we have oceans, lakes, frozen water that could be in the polar ice caps, or floating ice. Also there's a lot of water trapped in soil. Also permafrost in the tundra, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, and then water vapor in the atmosphere. Finally, lithosphere. Now, lithosphere is actually looking at the crust of the Earth, the actual rock, mineral, soil. It's the outer shell of the Earth, composed of crust and the rigid outermost part of the mantle outside the asthenosphere, material found in the Earth's plate. So here you can see that it's showing the lithosphere. We have the atmosphere. Here we go. And then the hydrosphere. So the most important interaction between the abiotic world and the biotic world in ecosystems is this flow of energy from the sun and the cycling of crucial elements or of nutrients. It is the most important, and is so important to remember, that energy flows and nutrients cycles. What does energy do? What does nutrients do? That's right. So if we start out with energy, looking how energy flows, and we start out, where does it start? The sun. And as that energy reaches the Earth, the amount of energy received in the topography of a region determines the climate. So climate's determined by the sun. Terrestrial parts of the biosphere are classified as biomes, such areas as deserts, forests, and grasslands. And what determines these biomes is the climate. One, how much sunlight are they getting, and also how much water they get as well. Now, aquatic life zones describe the many different areas found in water environments, such as freshwater marine life zones, coral reefs, and coastal estuaries and deep oceans. Those two as well, their energy starts with the sun, as the sun reaches them, starting from the top, working their way down within the ocean. So all energy, all of its flow, starts with the sun and how it reaches the Earth. So taking a closer look at biomes, and biomes are determined by what again? By climate. Now climate is determined by 2 key factors. One, temperature, which we looked at before, and rainfall, precipitation. So first up, look at this key here. And as we get more green in color, we get more precipitation. So now if you look at this diagram showing the different land areas in different elevations, and it'll show you what precipitation you have. Now if we look at the chaparral, coastal chaparral and shrub, which you have in California, you can see here that it gets a decent amount of rainfall, but also somewhat in the lower range, mid-range. Now if you look at the conifer forests, you get a lot of rainfall. Now look at the desert, very low, okay? low rainfall. Another conifer forest. Grasslands, once again, kind of mid-range for rainfall. And deciduous forests, lots of rainfall. Biomes are the terrestrial regions that inhabit by certain types of life, especially vegetations. Examples varies in types of deserts, grasslands, and forests.